Okay, let me post this all around. Video link. Make sure this works. Yep, okay. Posting this on here. Let me type it up. Where's the announcement? Oh, there it is. Okay, there's that. So let me go here. Stop streaming here. Okay, and then tweeting it. Oops, discard. Delete. Oops, wrong account. Gosh dang it. Okay. Tweet that out. There we go. Make sure everyone can hear me. Let me pull this up now. Delete all that. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. So we are live now. We're going to be doing some back testing. I hope you guys can hear me. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be doing some back testing of the tools that we, some of these market tools that we use pretty much on the daily. So I'm going to be back testing those, and then let's see what else. I can go over any questions you guys have with the market tools. I use Market NetFlow, which you guys see on the screen right here. Market NetFlow, and then I also use gamma exposure levels, which are these right here. And then I also use EMAs and all that good stuff. So if you guys have any questions about anything, it was kind of a slower week, guys. We had Powell speak for 2 hours on Wednesday and Thursday, which was yesterday and the day before. So that kind of like affected the market just a little bit, but not too bad. But although it was still kind of choppy. Oh, you guys could hear my thing on the, there we go. But yeah, guys, it wasn't a terrible week, but it wasn't the best either. I did take a pretty, not a horrible loss, but I did take one loss today, and I can go over that too. That was my only loss of the week. I only took like 4 or 5 trades, maybe 4 this whole week. It was a short week. We did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I didn't get into anything yesterday. But on Tuesday and Wednesday I did, which were small wins, and then today was a loss, sadly. But what I do normally on Fridays is what I go through all of the Market NetFlow convergence, this bar right here. So I can go over this tool too if you guys need. But usually when I get into plays, everything has to line up perfectly for me. So I have to have, so if flow is bullish, so if calls are above puts in this case, then this green bar at the bottom has to be green in order for me to go long. And there's a couple other things that I look for before I get into trade too. But what I do on Fridays is I go through the entire week of the convergence bars down here and see if they worked out. Now this week was kind of brutal for the convergence tool. I'm not even gonna lie, it's probably one of the worst weeks that I've seen. But within like the past month or so, I think I've been doing this backtesting live stream like for like the past month or two. But every single time the convergence tool has been its win rate has been like 70 to 80%, 75 to 85%. So this week I almost guarantee it's going to be below 70%. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to back test the last 4 days of trading since Monday there was no market. And then, yeah, we'll go from there, guys. There's only a few of you in here. So if the few of you do have any questions, you can stop me. I can see your comments. But, yeah, let's just get right into the back tests. Might as well. So let's head out to Tuesday, the 20th. That was our first day of the week. Let's take a screenshot of this so I can draw on it. Let's see here. Pull it over here, make sure everyone can see it. Okay, so this was Tuesday. You can see that flow is kind of choppy right at market open. We did have calls were slightly above puts in this situation, but then puts sort of took the lead, and then we had a nice little drop there. I can't remember if I got into puts there. I'll have to see. It's likely, I don't know though, but I'd never ever count the first 15 minutes of the market for convergence because the data is not really there yet. But it did flip gray, or no, sorry, I can't even see very well on these. I have to blow it up a little bit. But it did flip red when the put flow went above, and then calls kind of just sold off here. You can see that it did flip red slightly above here. So that was one win. And then it flipped gray after the red. It's kind of cool to see when it flips gray here. It either tends to go up or choppy. So you can see that it went choppy and then it started heading back up. So let me delete all that. Don't need that. So it did flip red here. So I'm going to have to count that one as a loss because it did flip. Ever so slightly though, so you probably would have gotten stopped out pretty close to break even, but still got to count that one as a loss. This one was W. This one was a loss. And then let's see here. This one flipped red again. This one was a loss too, I think, because it just chopped around. It did kind of head, I mean, what do you guys think? That's where it called it on SPY. This white line is the price of SPY, by the way. So it did kind of call it above, but it still kind of chopped around. I'm going to count that one as a loss too, sadly. Because I don't think you would have been able to get in or like out of profits pretty quickly. Yeah, this was just not a very good day. I think 3 losses. There's another one. Another flip, L. Yeah, I'm going to have to say that one was only 3 for, oh no, sorry, 1 for, that's terrible. I have not seen only a 1-win day in a long time. So let me post all these. Or let me just save them just so I have them. Okay, so that was Tuesday. I think Wednesday was a little bit better from what I remember. It was not better. It was not better. Okay, so this convergence flip actually worked out. Ooh, that was a terrible arrow. This one actually worked out pretty well. This was 30 minutes after market opened. It did catch like a 50-cent move to the downside, or maybe a little bit more, which isn't terrible. So I'm going to count that one as a win. This one's a wash trade because it did go down, but I mean, it's not enough to really gain anything, so I'm not even going to count that one. That one would just be a wash trade because you'd have stop loss. This one was a loss. This one. And then let's see here. This one was a loss too. Jeez. What, Aspie? Sorry, if you guys see, you probably can see my kid over here. She's chilling. What?
I want the candy.
Yeah, I told you can have candy after Daddy's done. I told you. Okay, that one's a loss. This one was a win. So this one went 2 for 2, or 2 for 4, sorry. This one went 2 for 4. It's better than only 1 win, but seriously. Yeah, convergence did not do well this week. What's up, Joe Wabby? Yeah, this week was really, really rough for the convergence tool, guys. But let's just go through these real quick. I usually do this every Friday, so this week was terrible. Probably one of the worst week for the convergence tools. Look how choppy flow is, dude. Look at that. Okay, anyways, so it was gray pretty much the entire morning. And then we got a green flip. Oh, it did go red here. I don't know. Would you guys count that? I mean, it did flip red. So I'm going to count that one as 2 wins. Win there. And then it flipped green here. These are terrible arrows, guys. But that's 2 wins right there. Green flips. That one was a really good one. Then we had gray, and then we had another green. This one worked too. That was a good one. And then we had a red flip when the flow flipped here. So let's see if this one worked out. If you would have held it. I mean, you would have been in a loss for a little bit, but then you would have been okay, I feel like. What is that? Like a 75-cent move to the downside? I'll count that one as a win. You probably would have. So what happened to me this week is I would go into profits for like 10 to 15%, and then my runners, usually how I make the most money is the runners. So most of my runners just like got stopped out because of how choppy everything was. So I pretty much broke even on like 1 or 2 trades this week out of the 4 I did. But I'm gonna count that one as a W. That red flip there. That one was this day was actually good. This day did really, really good for convergence. When was this? Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday, I think. That one was 4 for 4. That one did really good. That was the only good day of the whole week, was freaking yesterday, and I didn't even play any of them, which is funny. Okay, so let's go to... Was that Thursday? I want to make sure. Yeah, that was Thursday. Okay, so let's go to today. Let me just make this up to date so we can see it live. Okay, today was okay with convergence, especially this green one. This green one did really, really well. But this red one was the one that I got into. I got into puts on this red convergence, which was my only loss this whole week. Or the last 3 weeks, excuse me. So I did get into puts here. I got into with Champ actually on Twitter Spaces, and that was a big L. Not big, but I mean 20% is pretty decent. That's my biggest loss in like a whole month. So, but this green convergence did phenomenal, guys. See this green? When the green convergence flips here and flow is, I mean, flow wasn't that great today, but still we caught a very nice move up in SPY. Excuse the drawings, guys. Like, honestly, don't make fun of my artistry. Okay, so this one went from like 334-ish, 334 when it flipped, all the way to 335. So that was a dollar move, and you guys can see how how I have these levels. It's funny because since I got into live, it rejected 435 perfectly. But anyways, so this was 1 for 2. It might flip again later, and if that's the case, I'll edit the win rate on convergence because we still have 2 hours left in the market. But it did just flip gray, so we'll be watching this, guys, live for you. So this should just flip gray. So usually when that happens, it usually means opposite of flow or choppiness. So when this flips gray and calls are above like it is here, it usually means that it should go down. And that's exactly what happened. You guys can see it's coming back down to that next gamma exposure level, which is 434. Let's look and see here. See this level here, 434? That's a big support level. So we should see a bounce here. And if it does break 434, which it could, 433 would be the next one, since that's the biggest one to the downside. But since this one's so big, I feel like it should hold 434 here. Yeah, big ranges today, Joe. I agree. So let's see. There's been 4, 8, 12. There's been only 14 trades for convergence this week, and then 3, 7, 8. So 8 out of the 12 I don't know. Sorry, 8 out of the 14 were winners, so that's not good at all. It's still positive, but yeah, it's still above 50%, but still. So what is that? 3, 7, 8 for 8 divided by 14. We said, yeah, 14.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's only a 57% win rate in the conversions tool, guys. But normally it's up to like 80, 85%. So this week has been terrible for it. Ideally, when you see flow this choppy, you don't even want to play anything, especially when it's so close together like it is. I'll show you guys an example of a really good one. So like the week before Friday, let's say.
Daddy, is it time
So see, Aspie, no,
Daddy,
it's not time. Please go just sit down.
is it time for my school yet?
No, school's not for 2 more months, kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it still
It's summer. Yes, it's still summer. So this is a good example of like a really good divergence on calls and puts. You can see that when convergence flips here, it wins almost every time. So see how how wide calls and puts are together? You can see that those, oh geez, it just went away. I got a screenshot, I forget every time. Screenshot, oops. So like Friday was a really good day. Pretty much all of last week was really good. But you guys can see that when convergence flips and puts and calls are really far apart. So see how puts like were above here at like $15 million and then puts were way down below. We're below zero. So you can see how well this tool works when flow is really good. So that one worked really good and then this one worked really good. These are massive gains, guys. These are when you want to take advantage of these conversion flips or when flow is really, really good. So these 2 trades that I had on Friday were massive winners. This one went up like $2 in SPY, and then this one went up from $129.50 to $130.50, which is $1 still. I can show you guys more examples if you need. Like Thursday of last week was even better, I think. Yeah, look at this. It's freaking nuts, guys. I love it. Here's another one. Look at how it caught that. It went from 126 to 129. 126.50 to 129 on just one trade. And then let's see. Here's another one. This one went from 128.25-ish and then to 129. Pretty good, guys. Yeah, last week was way, way better. But still, we do it. At least your kid's ready to learn 24/7. Yeah, she's still in her PJs, dude. I haven't got her ready because I've been on live streams all this morning. I've kind of just been watching my screen. And then I cooked her breakfast, and then I'm just doing this live stream. I do the live streams usually at Power Hour, but I figured that since I can just get done with the day quicker. It's been a slow day. Regardless, though, I like how these game exposure levels are working out very well. You can see how 435 hit like right on the dot, and then 434 is respecting. It was respecting earlier, but then we got a break above it, and then it respected the next level. Let's see if there's any questions in Discord. Hold on. Let me make sure. I lost the kid. Yeah, she doesn't start school again until like August. But she starts all day preschool in August, so that kind of makes me happy. I can just hang out with all y'all. I don't think there's any questions. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask me in Discord or she's bringing her backpack upstairs right now. Aspie, you don't need your backpack, kid. She's funny. Funny enough about the kid, dude. I started the live stream like 30 minutes ago, actually, and she just got done going to the bathroom, and she walked out here butt naked while I was on live. Luckily, it was like right when I started it, so I was able to end it real quick, and then delete it. But she walked out like butt naked. Yeah. What?
Daddy,
What?
I want this keychain out and put this
You want that one on?
Yeah.
Okay, let me put it on for you.
Because I know my teacher will love it.
Oh, she will love it. Okay.
So,
Excuse her, guys, while I'm on the live. It's like a little entertainment for you guys. Can we get you dressed soon?
oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, go get an outfit that you like and we'll get you dressed. Probably not on live though. Okay, let's see. I've been taking advantage of supply and demand with the gamma exposure and gamma magnet. Yeah. That's pretty much it's ideally the same thing, but what gamma exposure is, it's all of the gamma levels in options flow. So that's like where the market makers like to move prices and reject prices. So I really pay attention to those because they've been working out very well. Can you hold on one second? What?
I want the
I'll put it on later. Later.
no, I want
Later.
no,
Later.
No, I want
Later.
I want
Later.
Daddy.
Later.
Daddy.
Later. She's like freaking out. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I want
Okay. Let me do this, guys. She's about to have a panic attack.
this one out.
The gold one. I can't get this one off. I need like a quarter or something. Give me that penny.
Honey,
She's about to have a panic attack. Do you find 0DT flow help at all? Now, the answer to that is no, but I do look at it occasionally. I don't use it very much at all, actually. But for some people, I feel like it has worked by doing the opposite. Because I think that market makers like looking at what retail is doing.
Daddy, I have
So I feel like a lot of retail do 0DTs. So they really pay attention to what retail's doing. And they take that as an advantage. So if you see like a large green circle, that could mean to play puts for 0DT flow. I don't normally look at it though. I don't really trust it that much. I can't get it off. It's too tight on there. I can't get it off. I'm sorry.
maybe mommy.
Maybe mommy can get it. Yeah. We'll make mom do it. Alright guys. So let's see. Can you guys see my chart? Yeah, you can. So notice how we bounced almost perfectly off of this other game exposure level. Maybe 1 cent off. It's been very, very on point the last week, I feel like. And it's been respecting these levels, at least little bounces before it breaks. But still, you can keep these areas as profit or entries and exits. See how here it did break a little bit above it earlier, but it did come back down to retest the 433 level, which I was talking about a lot. Here's the 433 level right here. So see how the wicks just kind of went down a little bit, but then it got bought right back up within a couple minutes. And then yesterday was the same thing, kind of. See how we came back down and retested 434. And then 436 was up here, 434. And then it kind of respected the second wick here. And then it finally broke above the 436 level. Excuse me, man. So I really pay attention to this time chart here. You can kind of see which levels are going negative and which ones are going positive within the last hour. So you can see here that 434 and then 435 were both going positive. And before 435 was very, very negative, and that's why it came up and tested it. It acted as a magnet. But now since that level hit, it's going positive now. So if it does get back above to 435, I feel like it would reject again because it's not negative gamma. And then 434 is the same. It usually acts as support or resistance levels. So since these are both going positive in this case, 434 and 435, you can respect it to, or you can respect, you can expect, you can expect it to go to be within that range for now until data changes. That's exactly what it's doing here. Just chopping around, boys. Okay. Ugh. Look at this. Calls are going. The calls are zooting back up now. You got to pay attention to that too. So ideally, if this flips green, you could go long and you could play it to the 435 level. It is coming up quite a bit here. But since it's gray, I don't really play much. And especially, it has to be like about a $5 million divergence between calls and puts for me to get into anything. But for the most part, it's 100% better if one of these are below zero. So in this case, puts are at 8 million and then calls are at 14 million almost. So that's about a $6 million divergence. That's what I kind of look for. The wider it gets, the better. But ideally, you want to see at least one of these below zero. So I would like to see puts below zero for me to go long any, to be very confident in a long, let's say, like it was here on Friday or Thursday. Oh, sorry, not that Friday. That was the Friday before. Oh no, that was right. Was it this Friday? Yeah, this Friday. See how puts were below zero and then calls are way up, and we got a really nice trendy day. So when these flip, you can almost guarantee that it's going to get into some profits. It's looking good here, though. For now, it's just kind of being slow. I kind of figured that was going to happen because, I mean, we have an hour and a half left of the market, and then it's quad witching, which means that all of these option contracts and futures contracts are going to be expired. So it might have a pretty decent move at close here. I don't know if I'll be on that long on live stream, but just for you guys to watch out. Ugh. Did my live stream cut out? No, it's still live, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's still live. Joe Wabby, where do you see that? See what? Where do I see what? If you guys don't have any questions, I'm just going to sit here. I hate talking to myself. I'm the most boring person ever. So if I have no one to talk to, I'll just bore you guys to sleep. Or I can just spill all over myself. Oh, my kid, dude. She got herself dressed. What, baby? You want me to button it for you? Okay, you got a dress on?
Mommy doesn't have.
I don't know why you need that dress on. That's for formal stuff.
Mommy doesn't have one.
Okay, if you want to wear it, I guess that's fine. I gotta brush your hair out, okay?
Okay. Get that spray.
I'll do it later. I'll do it in a little bit. Yeah, messages are a little bit delayed, Joe Wabby. It's like maybe 30 seconds, or I just saw your message, so it might be like 30 seconds to a minute. Calls to put ratio to see the calls to put volume. Where do I see it? I see it on here. I see it on my my browser here. Trade ticks. This is really, really good too because I like market net flow better than just watching live flow. It's because there's a lot of noise when there's live flow. Like you see a bunch of you see millions and millions of dollars of calls or puts, and your bias can get kind of flawed as you see that come in. So say there's like a $10 million like Tesla call or Amazon call that comes in, and you're like, oh dang, Amazon's gonna go up. But that's not really the case because there's so many different options contracts, and this pretty much consolidates all of that into one chart for you. And it shows you all of the net premiums between buys and sells of calls or puts. That's what these green and red lines are. It shows you the average, the net premiums of every single stock in the entire stock market, and that's what moves the market. Oh, you thought I had a different tab? No, it's just right here. Kevin, yeah, market net flow does lag by 2 to 3 minutes, which is also a downside, especially if you're like a scalper per se. I'm more of like a day trader who holds it. I mean, if I hold a whole day, then I will. But usually my plays last from 30 minutes to an hour or longer, so that doesn't really affect me too much. But if you're a scalper, it's going to be really tough, especially if like 30 seconds to a minute really make a difference for you. That's one thing I do complain about this, is it is a little bit laggy, 2 to 3 minutes sometimes. Yeah, Joe, there's just this one. There's the market net flow, and then there's live flow, which you can see all of the flow, which I can show you here. So this one is all of the flow coming in. So, oh, it's kind of hard to see. You guys can see. So this is the live flow when it's actually coming out. So you get SPY calls. You get a bunch of just noise. It's just a mess all the time. You have filters and stuff up here, but yeah. I really like just looking at the market net flow better because it limits. I mean, this is just a mess to me, so I like just one chart, kind of like this. If that makes sense. Yeah, so for me, market net flow is sentiment, and negative gamma exposure strikes are magnets. Yeah. I kind of do the same thing. So I have I have developed a strategy, and where I look at a couple different things, and if one of those do not line up together, then I stay out completely. So for me, I look at flow first. So I look and see the divergence between calls and puts, and then that kind of gives me an idea of which way I want to go. And then I look at gamma exposure levels. Oh, I thought someone was calling me. And then I look at gamma exposure levels to see how close we are to some of them. And then I look at convergence, which is this bar down here. And then if it's about to flip like it did here, I would be looking for an entry. And then finally, my entry points are off of EMAs 9 and 15 on the 5 minute. And that's usually what I do. And if all those line up perfectly, then I'm game. So like for an example, if I were to go long here, so since calls are up here, so say I want to go long, which I probably won't, just because it's going to be crazy at the late of the day, so I feel like it could move either way. But regardless though, if it were any other normal day and calls were above puts like they are here, I would be waiting for a convergence flip or for the gray bars to go down and looking for the green flip here. And go long to the next gamma exposure level. Which is like 434 would, well, that's the support level, but 435 to the upside would be mine at the next level I'd be looking at, if that makes sense. Let's see. Do you mostly filter SPY and SPX for order flow? So are you talking about live flow? I hardly ever look at live flow, Joe Wabi. I hardly ever look at it. I normally, there's so many tools in this platform that I focus on maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 sometimes, but mostly 3 tools, and that's it. There's so many tools on here that you guys can research though. It's kind of cool to see this convergence tool here. When this flipped gray, that was a good chance to go short because that gray means opposite of flow. So since calls were above here, it flipped gray. That was a good short entry. See how it's getting bigger too, which could mean that we could break this. Well, we are below the 434 level. It could mean a little bit more downside. I'm still thinking we hold that 434 level though. Come back up. How do the Gammon levels on Market Net Flow chart compare to those imported to TradingView? So the Gamma levels on Market Net Flow chart, so those are 0 DTs. So these ones, these are 0 DTs Gamma exposure levels, which are good for day trades. And then the regular ones, which are these, you've probably seen these before. Oh, it's hard to see with my camera. So there's a couple different ways you can find Gamma exposure levels, and this is another one where I look at. And these ones are for all contracts. So if I were to look at SPY here on the 5-minute chart, and I come over here to Greeks, and then let's just do spot gamma exposure, which is a little bit easier to see. You can see it's kind of a mess. There's one at every single dollar mark on every single strike price. So ideally you want to see no levels, and then those are the ones you want to play because those are called ghost zones. So you can play really good plays with the price freely moving, if that makes sense. But these ones are for all strikes. So you can change it to weekly expirations or like non-weekly or monthly, and then I just chose all. So these are all the ones. That's the difference though. One's for just today expiration, which is the one on Market Net Flow, which you see this one, and then this one was for all of them. Let's see if there's any questions on Discord here. I don't think anyone. It's kind of cool to see live with you guys what's happening with convergence, because convergence got very, very gray here. So you can see that the downward move. So since here, let me just screenshot it so I can draw. It's a little bit easier to see. So you can see how convergence turned gray here. Ooh, terrible arrow. It turned gray about that area. We got a nice move down. But then it got even more gray, like about this area. So notice it kind of bear flagged right here. This is a 1 minute chart, by the way. But on this 5 minute chart, you can see it too. You can see it tapped off of 434, came up and retested the EMA, which is right here. And that's when it got more gray, or it started to get more gray. And then it's fallen below that gamma exposure level right now. Is a cluster or group of positive gamma exposure strikes the same as a ghost zone? No. Negative levels are. I feel like negative levels are, especially if one's bigger than the other one. Green ones are not, though, because that's where price should bounce. So in this case for today, so see how this one, it held for just a little bit, maybe 15 minutes. This one held 434, and then it came up and then broke below it. This one wouldn't be a ghost zone because, oh, maybe it would, kind of. For this case, it did, but normally it doesn't. So see how I kind of expected it to bounce here and then come back up to the 435? It didn't. So it broke down below, but yeah, most of the time it's not. It usually acts as support. So 434 and then 433. I don't know. That's kind of a tough question. I haven't really thought about that one. Pretty much, I have seen the negatives though. Pretty much just go through the ghost zone, especially if one's bigger than the other one. You can kind of expect it. So say like 436 and then 438 were very negative, but 436 was a little bit smaller than 438. I feel like we could have like a nice move up to 438, and that would be like your optimal target, if that makes sense. I never really thought about that before. It's a good question. I guess I haven't done enough backtesting to really constitute if that's true or not. I've seen it more often with negatives than positives, though, for sure. You need to learn more about ghost zones and dark pool levels. Yeah, they can be pretty powerful. But I like to keep it as simple as possible. So normally I kind of just look at those levels as like a suggestion. I treat those as like take profit levels. I more so trust flow and then convergence than I do gamma exposure. So say I just use gamma exposure as like the tool that I use to trade. I feel like it would be a little bit harder for me to do, even though they work out pretty well. I have a lot more trust in like convergence and market net flow. I use gamma exposure to kind of just boost my trading, to make it a little bit better, because then I can hold profits for a little bit longer, especially if there's like a really, really large negative level. Then I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to head there. I'll probably head out off the stream in like 20 minutes or so, just to give you guys a heads up. How long have I been streaming for? 45 minutes? Yeah. I usually like to keep the lives within like an hour, hour and a half. Oh, it's the weekend. What are you guys doing for the weekend? Ask me, what should we do for the weekend?
What?
What should we do for the weekend? Ariel.
Elsa is that.
What do you mean? You want to watch a movie?
Elsa!
You want to watch Frozen?
I'm not candy now.
After Daddy's done. 15, 20 more minutes, okay?
Daddy.
Daddy, oh.
Daddy. Where's my milk?
Go get it. It's probably downstairs.
Get it.
You get it.
You get it.
You get it.
You get it. Daddy, get it. Daddy, get it.
Okay, so Glenn is asking on the pull down menu under filters ADN settings on MarketNet Flow, can you can check gamma exposure. Oh, on the yeah, are those the same as what you get when you import from TradingView? Let me see. I think I know what you're talking about here. These 438 to 434. So let me see. Let me look at something real quick. Let me see if these are the same here. $430, $437, $438, $436. I don't know what those ones are. Because this one says 438 and then this one's 434 positive and 433 positive. I guess they'd be the same as these ones, right? Yeah, 433 and 434 are positive. Which they're both, yeah, they're both green here. That 438 though is confusing me. Huh. Or is that red? I can't even tell the 433. I don't know. That's a good question too. I don't really use this one though. It's kind of weird to see. Yeah, because you can see that it's 438 up here, and then this one is 434, and then this one's 433. I think this is green though. Yeah, 433 in green. This is probably the 0DT gamma exposure, because you can see 433 and 434. But I don't know why they would have it on there if they have it just right below too. I don't know. This one's a little bit more accurate, I feel like. I never use that. Oh, we got a nice put spike there. Oh, look at that. We just hit 433. Man, that happened fast. Sheesh. Oh. Okay, so 433 hit. Let's see if we get a bounce there. If not, I don't know. I can't believe it. If that breaks, I'd be genuinely surprised. 433. We'll keep watching it though. Massive put spike here. There's that level though. It bounced pretty hard off of it. 20 cents move up off of 433, 25 cents. It's crazy how that works, guys. Like, even if it breaks a little bit, see how you can pretty much just exit your position, especially if you're a day trader. You can exit your position right on the gamma exposure level if you really want to. So say you were in shorts on the break of this 434. You can exit right at 433 if you really want to, because that was the gamma exposure level. It just gives you really good entries and exits, I feel like. What, Aspie?
Candy now.
Later.
Now.
I said after Daddy's done here.
Now.
I said when I'm almost done, okay?
Now.
Someone is asking what's happening with Flow. Calls are going higher and prices going low. Yeah, it is. It does happen like that sometimes when calls are coming up, but also puts are coming up at the same time too. So that's usually when I just don't do anything. It's better to play when there's a clear direction in Flow. So like I said earlier, it's better to play it when at least one of these are below 0. So if I were to be bearish, I would want calls to be below 0. Or if I was bullish, I would want puts to be below 0. I hope this is clearing it up a little bit for you guys, especially in Oasis of what I do. It can be confusing at times when I pull up my charts and kind of what I'm looking at. But I'm always open. I'm an open book, guys. So if you have questions about it at all, I've had the platform. I've been like an options flow trader or like a market data trader for quite a while, like 2 years. So I'm not the best, but I mean I feel like I'm pretty educated on what all this stuff is. Not all the tools, like I said earlier, I've learned about many different ones, but I've tried to focus on like maybe 2 or 3 of them at a time. Because it works. It works very, very well. Very well. Like from when I was backtesting last week, I didn't have a single loss, and then obviously today we had a loss. But last week's win rate on convergence, the convergence tool, was 80%. And then the week before that was like 87%. It's freaking nuts. And then of course this week we get like 56%. One of the worst weeks I've seen all year, actually. All right, y'all. I'll give you guys 5 more minutes. If you guys don't have any more questions in that 5 minutes, I'll probably just head out and then call it a weekend and go take care of this kid, because she got to come in with us for the stream, huh? She's being good though. I probably shouldn't bother her. She got her freaking tablet. Being good on our bed. I did take a loss today though. Like I said earlier, I got into this red flip over here in puts, and I got smashed pretty quick. I lost like 20%. Let's see. I think I edited my P&L sheet, right? So this is, if you guys, since we're not really doing anything, this is my P&L sheet. This last week was kind of slow. See, we only got like a 7% win, and then this one went 20%, but then my runners pretty much canceled out that 20% win, which sucked really bad. But yeah, that was a wash trade. And then I got into some more, which were like only 10%, which aren't that crazy of gains, but still something. And then today I got minus 20, which is horrible. But other than that, guys, 2 losers in the past 3 trading weeks, I think this is, since the past month. Since May 26th. Which isn't terrible. It's not bad at all. We hit some bangers though. The first week in June and then last week was a big one too for some calls. What was the 15th? Was the 15th Friday or Thursday? I'll have to look and see. 15th. It was probably one of those crazy flow days. 15th. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty easy to play when flow days like this. You can really make a lot of money, guys. I'm almost positive I got into some calls pretty much at open on Thursday, and I just rode those all day. It never hit stop losses. The runners just ate. Did you drink that?
No.
That can't be good. That's probably watered down. Watered down, whatever that is.
I didn't.
Oh, huge great convergence, guys. Look at that. So we could get a break of 433 here. It's holding a little bit.
I want these.
Okay, I'll give you a couple here. If you just go be quiet for 5 more minutes.
The whole
Here, no,
bag.
not the whole bag. Go sit down. Go sit down with him. Go sit down, please.
I like that.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The very top, but it caught pretty close. Alright guys, since you have no more questions, I'll probably call it here, and then I'll see y'all on Monday. We're gonna have a better week next week, I feel like. I'm feeling it. I know we'll have a little bit better week. It was just only baby gains and then one loss. Kind of sucked on the short week, but